of On the Capistan. I am your host, David. Alongside yours truly is our good friend John. John, how you doing?
Good, David. How are you?
Fantastic. Ahmed, how
Nice.
you doing, my friend?
Good man. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday indeed. All right, friends. So we didn't have any action from Orlando City, the first team this past week. Everybody rested. Um, our boys did see action with their national teams. Again, Facundo Torres is with Uruguay, Wilfredo Rivera is with Puerto Rico, and Wilder Cartagena, I'm sorry, and Pedro Galese are with Peru. So they should be coming back this week as we host OFO, a rival of antiquity, the Columbus Crew, and it promises to be a great match. Both teams jockeying for top of the table status, and there's a little bit to talk about that, and obviously, if the season were to end today, how the playoff position it looks like. I would like to remind everybody that we're live on Twitch at On the Capistan, on Twitter at On the Capistan, on YouTube at David's Channel 76, and we're also on Instagram at On the Capistan, and live on Facebook on the Capistan podcast. With that, my friends, there's not much news. There's not much to talk about, so we're just gonna go straight to the nitty gritty, and that is Columbus at home this Saturday, 7:30. All roads lead to 655 West Church Street in the beautiful neighborhood of Paramore, where we're gonna be facing. It's gonna be, to me, as a derby. I take it as that. There's a lot of history between these two clubs, a lot of bad blood, a lot of butchered uh, calls by refs, a lot of things going on with this. And again, there's only 4 games left at home, so you guys better be there. Let's go ahead and start with you, John. Your expectations about this Saturday?
Yeah, I mean this is an absolute must win. I know we're going to get into the playoffs a little bit later, but if we win Saturday, and I believe New England still plays Saturday, and they don't, we have second place all alone on point. Period. That'd put us 1 or 2 up if they draw or lose. And at this point in the season, you have to win every home match. We've said it all year, but especially late in the year, you have to win every home match. And Columbus is a dangerous team. They score a lot of goals. They're second or third in the league for goals per match with 2, which doesn't sound like a lot, but they put 3 up against Cincinnati. We know how good Cincinnati's defense can be, and they put up the 3 goals against them, and took it to them right before a couple weeks before we played Cincinnati. So it's going to be a hard-fought match. We'll see how the guys are coming back from international duty, who's available, who's not, because that ends Wednesday, and so there could be some guys that are not available. We could see Torres having to come off the bench, and the big miss is Cartagena's got to miss the match, period, because of his
The red card, yeah.
red card suspension.
Ahmed?
I think the every match we need to win. I don't think at this point we can accept anything else. There's no reason we can't. We need to maintain that momentum that we've had so far, and I think anything else is just going to be looked at like, okay, this is what we said was going to happen, right? We need to continue to win. Every match for us is a final. I mean, to John's point, they're averaging higher per game. I think right now I was looking at, I think we're averaging like 2.67 and they're like 3 something per game. And so it could be a fight for us. I mean, I was looking at the last 6 matches, and I think the last 5 or 6 matches we've won, with the exception of maybe 1. The last time we played them was in March. I think it was a draw. Then we won. Then we won before that. So the odds are in our favor, but we just have to keep what we had. We can't, and we can't afford. I don't think we can afford a loss, even though points wise we'll be above that line. Mentally, we need every win from now to the end of the season, and that may be a lot to ask, but I feel like if we don't, things are just gonna. I don't even want to say.
No, I'm with you, my friend. The fact of the matter is that at this point we cannot drop points. We have to finish fourth or above in order to secure a CONCACAF Champions Cup or CCC spot. I think we can do it. I think it'll be sort of a do over for us since last year. I felt that the draw was not kind to us. I mean, we drew the toughest team, and we were out on a stupid away goal rule. I think for the fans, we deserve to see that. We have seen Orlando City put some great performances on the road. It's time for us to return home and to reward the fans that have been there from the very beginning with a fantastic performance. And to me, what's important, guys, is there's a lot of buzz among the football circles. Um, More and more first timers, the guys that have probably ignored us because we're not European quality or because we don't match the European team they follow. A lot of people are finally giving up to the idea, you know, watching live football with my friends at a stadium beats getting up at 7 o'clock in the morning to watch a team far away. And that's great. As you guys know, I follow two teams overseas and I enjoy it. It's never the same as going to Exploria. And this week is special because, and I apologize if you guys hear the thunder in the background. Central Florida in the summer, baby. Although technically it's fall already, right? Um, our good friend Tom Lord is going to be joining me. He hasn't been in Orlando for years. He has been a faithful supporter of this club in Bolton, England, and his excitement to be at the stadium Saturday sort of is contagious. I haven't been to the stadium in 2 months due to work, other commitments, and my illness, of course. So I'm really excited. But we're seeing that joy that he has for being at the stadium on Saturday, to me, speaks about all those fans that don't live in the area and to who an Orlando City game is a gift. It's like Christmas in September for them. So we have to be Orlando City has to reward those guys. Orlando City has to reward those guys. Obviously, football clubs can win every single game, but we have to reward those guys. We have some comments. If you guys want to read them, let's. We have five. Let's start from the beginning.
I'll take it. This is hey Mark Rodriguez. He said I just saw this pop up on Ticketmaster. I think I know what he's talking about. Important reminder in the supporters section: opposing colors of any team, not just Inter Miami, are prohibited.
All right. Wow. Okay. So we're finally hammering that down. And I have a comment about that, but go ahead.
Yeah, this includes but not limited to Barcelona, PSG, Argentina, any Messi apparel. All guests with tickets in this area must enter through the supporters gate on the north side of Exploria Stadium. There are no exceptions, and guests violating these rules will not be permitted entry. And then he goes on to say, chances of this actually being enforced. Your guess is as good as ours, my friend.
All right, yeah, John, take this one since you are a wall enthusiast longer than anybody else. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean that's supposedly been a rule since we were in the Citrus Bowl. At least since they opened Exploria Stadium back in 2017. Is it supposed to be only Orlando City jerseys? Orlando City shirts or colors of Orlando City, which included red, white, black, and purple. The red, obviously, for our first season or two. And anybody else was supposed to not be permitted entry. Did they uphold those rules? No, they're more worried about supporters of Orlando City being in the first 7 rows this year. But even in the Champions League match against Tigres, there was individuals in there with Tigres jerseys on, Tigres shirts on. A couple times it almost caused a problem, and luckily security was able to squash it. And the individuals doing that were removed from the section. But it's one of those that shouldn't come to that point. The people, you can only get into the wall from the one entrance.
Correct.
And if you have a ticket to any other place, they turn you around and send you back. It should be the same exact way for if you're wearing an opposing color, opposing jersey, opposing player. National team jerseys aren't even supposed to be allowed in there either, whether it's U.S., Mexico, or, Taiwan, if you will. I'm just thinking of somebody far away. So, I mean, they haven't enforced it. I've been assured by people that I talk to that I've gotten to know that work with the club that they're going to, that they've been preparing and training for when the circus comes to town on September 25th. And, they say they're going to uphold it. You can only do so much if somebody's wearing a long sleeve, mock turtleneck, and then they take that off the second they get in the stands. I understand that, but let's hope they do. Let's hope they do uphold it, because it could get ugly very quickly if they don't.
Absolutely. Ahmed?
Yeah, I think they have to, and I've seen it once where they've actually upheld it. I don't remember what match it was. Somebody was wearing an opposing team's jersey, or a shirt even. It wasn't even a jersey, and they actually gave them a shirt, like an off-color shirt or like a white shirt or something, just to wear over it. But I think they have to. I don't think it's a choice, especially September 24th. If it was any other game, they could probably get away with it. But just with the relationship with Miami and everything going on between the two teams and the rivalry, I think it's just a bad mix. And if they don't, it could get really bad over there.
No, absolutely. And I have this to say. And again, I know if you are playing the game where you take a shot every time I bring up my overseas teams, this is the time to go ahead and pour yourself one. The rules at Maccabi Haifa, which their supporter section is basically 20,000 seats. And if you follow me on social media, I have sometimes shared this mass of humanity that makes our wall at Exploria look like like a children's section. The rule there is just like we have spoken. If it's not the club or it's not paraphernalia related to the supporter group that you're a member of, Maccabi Haifa has about 5 supporter groups. You can't be there, and the supporter groups have more leniency in that we have here in the United States, because they in that section they impose the rules, and you may get a shiner if you don't. And when it comes to Stevenage, yeah, the fact is that again the rules are imposed. You can't be there, and if you try to get funky, well, guess what? Marky Mark is going to remind you that that he's the boss of the funky bunch. That's common sense to me. Will be reinforced. The 2 gentlemen here happen to be that's their section of choice, and they know that in the past has gone ugly. When people decide, hey, I'm going to buy a ticket there because it's the cheapest in the stadium. And to me, it's important that we do that we impose respect in our house, that we start having, people start seeing our stadium as our house, where our rules, our grounds are, our rules on our ground are imposed. So with that said,
I got one more thing to add.
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
About that. Only in America, United States, and we'll include Canada in that. You can't even say North America because of what I'm about to say. It'll make sense. So really, there's only 2 countries in the entire world that people would even think about going into a supporter section with opposing teams' colors, kind of going off the back of what David said. That's not me asking for violence. I hope there is no violence. I hope if there is Inter Miami fans in the supporter section that,
This is a death wish.
happens. Yeah, security is able to handle it quickly, and cooler heads prevail. But it's like you're in other countries. It's a death wish. You go to Mexico, and if you're a Club America fan and you're going to go to a Tigres match, you're going in the away section up in the rafters. You're not trying to get a cheap ticket over in their supporter section and go, sit with all their supporters or stand with all their supporters. There's going to be, a melee, and it's going to all be on you. And, it's a supporter section for a reason. My personal opinion is the club, especially for the Miami match, anytime a circus like this comes to town, should close resale for the supporter section. The only resales available is between supporter group members and as well as season ticket members. If I want to bring a friend, I have access to get that tickets, because I'm not going to bring somebody that's an Inter Miami fan to that match to be with me in the supporter section. And if they are, I'm gonna be like, listen, you're rooting for Orlando today. You're wearing Orlando colors. You do anything else, you're heading back to the car. So that's my opinion on it. They should have not let resale in the supporters section, because last time I looked, they were going for about $300 a ticket. And if you want to buy a single game ticket to any other match, non-resale, it's about $17.
Wow.
I think we may have just lost David's internet. His camera went very dark, and it looked
Look at that. I just
So yeah, with that being said, let's move on. So for those listening, we have a storm going through Central Florida right now, and looks like David's electricity went out. So moving on, news around the league. So right now, Orlando is sitting third in the playoff standings, 1 point behind New England, and 1 point ahead of Philadelphia. First place is pretty much out of the question. We're 10 points behind Cincinnati with only 7 matches left. So they would have to have an epic collapse. In fourth, like I said, is Philadelphia. Fifth is Columbus. Columbus could jump us if we tragically lose on Saturday. Sixth is Atlanta United. Seventh is Nashville. Eighth is Montreal. Ninth is DC United. Remember, eighth and ninth play in the wild card game, if you will. 10th is Chicago. 11th is Charlotte. 12th is New York City FC. 13th is New York Red Bulls. 14th is my Inter Fort Lauderdale, and 15th is Toronto. So, Ahmed, who, in your opinion, if you have it in front of you, awesome. In your opinion, who are those last 2 teams? If you need me to read them off again, I will. The last 2 teams to make the playoffs to go into the wild card.
Man, that's tough. I mean, because there's a lot of teams there that I honestly didn't think would be there when the season started. Shoot. I would probably say maybe New York and NYCFC.
Okay.
And Chicago.
Okay.
I'm not even entertaining the other one.
The alternate, the one everybody wants.
I'm not even entertaining that.
Yeah. So obviously we know he's talking about Inter Fort Lauderdale. Currently they are 6 points out of 9th. All they have to do is, tie 3 of their next matches, and they don't make it. They drop 5 points total. They miss the playoffs. Right now, their goal differential is -9, to put it in perspective. DC United, who currently holds the 9th spot, is at -1. DC United's had a resurgence this year. Rooney's done a pretty good job this year in his first full year back as their manager. So who would you want to play ideally? So obviously third would play sixth place. And right now I'll say 6, 7, 8 again. Atlanta United, Nashville, Montreal. It's a best of 3 series. So if Orlando stays in third, we get 2 home matches and 1 away match. For those that don't know how best of 3s work, first team to win 2 matches basically wins. So we could have a match at home, a match away, win both of them, be on to the next round. Who would you want to see in that first round?
I mean, I think we spoke about this earlier in the week, and I think right now the way that it is with Atlanta, I think that would be an awesome set of matches, an awesome set of games.
Definitely.
Nashville or Montreal would also be entertaining, but I just feel like just because of the proximity and they're like our closest rival compared to the other 2. I think that would actually be really fun matches regardless of the outcome. I think those would be super entertaining, and historically we've had really good games against Atlanta. They haven't always gone our way, but that's why it's the best of 3. So
exactly.
What about you?
I mean, personally, I just want to avoid Nashville. They give us a tough time. They they don't, because of their style of play. They want to counter. We struggle sometimes with the counter, and if we had to play Nashville in that first round period in the playoffs, they're one team I'd definitely want to avoid in the playoffs. And David's back. David, the also electricity.
Yes, thank you, guys. My apologies to the audience. I sort of saw it coming. I don't know if you guys saw that. I was like, is that hail hitting my window? And I didn't want to be rude and interrupt when he was talking. I was about to say, hey, if I lose power, guys, just be on the lookout. So thank you, John.
Yeah, we moved on. We're talking about playoffs. Went through the table, kind of, if it ended today, who would be in, who would be out.
Beautiful.
And, so I'll ask you, David, since you just joined us in the playoffs, I'll reread who we could, if they ended today, we would be playing Atlanta, but obviously it doesn't. So right now, 7th is Nashville, 8th is Montreal, 9th is DC. Who would you prefer to play in the first round?
Absolutely, my friend. And let me get to that graphic that the league posted real quick.
Okay.
And my apologies if I am gone again. I don't think it will happen, but Central Florida and thunderstorms, like peas and carrots, my friends. Let's see here. I had that darn. Okay, there it is. So yes, like John said, as of right now on the first round, we will have Atlanta. Then if we win that one, we'll play the winner between New England and Nashville. We're in a very good bracket if you guys look at it. Teams that we have battled with in the past, win some, lose some, tie some. The lower bracket is the heavy hitters. Philadelphia, Columbus, FCC, and you have there the 2 wildcard teams, which at this point will be DC and Montreal. But we can't ignore the elephant in the room, which is obviously Inter Miami. They have won the last 3 games they have won 2 and tied 1 on the last 3 games in the league, but they're still in the basement. Now, one thing that is important to mention is if they drop 5 points with the games that they have left, they're not making playoffs. It's that tight of a window. So to me, the game on the 25th should be about pissing on their parade. Either tie or, I wouldn't mind a 0-0 where we basically park the bus. To me, there's no greater satisfaction than making them sweat 2 days before they have to play a final and for them to not get the 3 points. That's just me, because I'm salty, I'm bitter, all these things that their fan base calls me. I'm sorry, the messy fan base. Because this past weekend they were very busy telling the league if Messi's not playing, they're not watching. And I'm gonna be honest with you, the day that happens in Orlando City, shut the lights off, put a padlock at Exploria Stadium. We're not a club. We're not an institution. We're nothing. If one player becomes bigger than the club, to me, it's shameful. And you know what? I'm gonna tell you this, guys. I'm gonna tell you this. I personally have made peace with the fact that they may win Open Cup, they may win MLS this year. Next year, they're a huge juggernaut. All this. And like I have said to you guys, it's perfectly okay to for them to do that. They have the players. The league has allowed this club to become a super club under our noses. The fans, they're like, no, we're playing by the rules. BS. A $45 million player does not come to MLS, and just any team can afford it. This is it's a travesty. The fact that this fans try to pretend that Messi is just some kid that they found in Argentina playing in a dirt patch somewhere in a poor neighborhood. It's not true. So with that said, it's okay. We'll just go ahead and sit in the dugout, let them swing for the fences, and in 2 years, then go back at it again. And they can throw all the trophies at us, all that, blah blah blah, whatever. Because we know, without Messi, without Tata Martino, without all these players they have signed, they are the old Inter Miami that lost 11 games in a row this season. Those are facts. But I was talking about this with the guys, and one thing that to me goes underrepresented when it comes to the discussion with Inter Miami is the fact that Tata Martino has transformed that club. I think he's a great tactician. Say what you will about his experience in Mexico and all the other clubs, but in MLS, he's the maximum. He's the man. He took Atlanta to a championship in 2 years, and Atlanta has never been the same since he left. And look at Inter Miami, the transformation that he has been able to create. This weekend, they won without Messi, so what's the excuse there? And that's what going back to the eternal discussion in this fan base that one manager cannot make changes, cannot transform the club. And again, guys, take the shot because I'm about to bring Stevenage into the conversation. Stevenage this past Saturday, it's number one, top of the league in League One, a team that just got promoted. This is the highest the club has ever been on the table in 47 years, and not only that, this is a team that 2 years ago avoided relegation in a courtroom, not on the pitch. And when the current manager, Steve Evans, took it over, they had 7 games to go in a relegation battle from hell. The two teams they beat for the relegation battle, one of them, it's in the National League. The other one is in the National League North. That meant that Scunthorpe took a double relegation from the EFL to the National League to National League North. It's a tragedy, my friends. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. Stevenage is about to go into the championship, and if you go into the championship, all you gotta do is dream. Because if you have a good season, it's EPL. That's one man that every time other fan bases insult my club, they call him fat, they call him this, they call him that. That's the one thing that they don't call him loser. They don't call him that. They don't call him, they will never call him late for dinner, but the guy wins. The guy wins games. They can never argue about that. So here in Orlando, I think it's time for us to make those questions as well. We're in good form. I'm not debating that. We're in good form. Oscar Pareja has the boys winning. But now we're going into a game, my friends, where we may be missing key pieces due to international duty. Facundo Torres is actually has the longest distance to come to Orlando to travel. It's about almost a 16-hour flight, and he actually is not direct because he has to stop in Panama City. Excuse me. The flight to Miami and then Miami to Orlando. So it's a brutal flight, if you ask me. And also we have injuries. I was reading that our boy Wonder, Duncan Maguire, is training on the side.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we may have some issues this weekend, but that's football. It's cruel and unpredictable. We have said that many times. So the race to the playoffs, my friends. I mean, it starts right now. Playoffs start to me. Playoffs start Saturday, guys.
Yep.
If you have anything to add, please let me know. Because we have two goals. In my opinion, we have three goals in the coming up weeks. Piss on Miami's parade, just because it's a rival. You have to squash them. The other one is you have to make sure that we are in CCC next year. To me, it will be a fantastic achievement to get back to an international tournament. And the third one is once we make playoffs, my friends, it's gonna be most likely it's gonna be against Atlanta, a bitter rival that we love to send us home. We love to send us home. So you guys tell me if there's anything for us to let the foot off the gas, because to me this is a moment for us to just go and show what we're all about.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think we can't let off at this point at all. Every game is a final, and we need to approach it like that. I feel like the minute we don't, it can go sideways on us. It would not be the first time it's happened.
No, for sure. Guys, we have some comments. You let me know if you guys have read them. These are from Mark. Have you read them?
We have not.
No, you haven't. Okay. Let's go here with this first one.
Yep, I'll go ahead. Mark Rodriguez, I have now started to hear clubs being introduced as Lionel Messi and Inter Miami, and not as simply Inter Miami. This should never happen. We should never be introduced on TV as El Popo and Orlando City.
1,000%.
You got 1,000%. Messi has Apple TV in his pocket. That's part of the reason Miami was able to land him, or Fort Lauderdale. I'm sorry, they don't play in Miami; they play in Fort Lauderdale. So I don't know if you have, if you watch on Apple TV, I'm sure you do, or if you've seen highlights on ESPN or whatever.
You mean the Messi network? Because that's all.
That's all. That's all when it comes to the MLS.
If I log on right now, bro, it's like all into Miami.
You got to scroll through about 6 different things of Inter Fort Lauderdale
before you get to your own team.
Finally get to your team's page. And that's why I'm going to continue to call it a circus, because that's all it is it's Inter Fort Lauderdale and the sideshow that is Messi. And I can't wait for us to beat them on September 25th. I'm calling it right now. We're beating them. The refs have no choice but to be fair and equal in that match, because if they're not, and this isn't me calling for violence, but I'm sure the wrath of the league will be on them, because we will be.
Oh, they already are.
Orlando will be all over that. We've already had a referee banned from refereeing our matches on the men's and women's team, who happen to be husband and wife. And
what a badge of honor.
Yeah, we're not afraid to do it again. If they're going to get what's his name, the guy that did the New York City match from the playoffs a couple years ago with the penalty kicks, and then I can't remember. Everybody knows who I'm talking about. I'm just waiting for them to announce him to be the referee that match, and it'll be a good way to salute him and send him on his way of never refereeing an Orlando City match again at home, because he's one of the worst referees I've ever seen as far as managing a game. But no, we're beating them September 25th. There's no doubt about it. We are still the only team that has ever treated them like just another team when we played them in the League's Cup.
And it's not us saying that. It's the journalists.
Exactly. The journalists are saying that. We're gonna be in good shape. They're gonna be tired. They hadn't even been playing a month, and they were already saying how they were getting tired and how exhausted, how tiring the season was, and this and that and the other. Guess what, Messi? Guess what, Busquets? This ain't a retirement league anymore. You got 20-year-olds running around all over this league. This isn't Beckham's league, where it's a bunch of no-name, players from North and South and some North, from the Americas that have no future. Every year there's guys getting picked up that are very young in their teens and going over to Europe and playing. There's guys like Miami has one of them. I can't think of his name, or Fort Lauderdale has one of them. We have one of them in Torres. We have another one in Gonzalez. Angulo's 23 or between 23 and 26. So this isn't a retirement league anymore. These guys are going to be beaten up by the last month and a half of the season because their schedule is, more congested than mine during a sinus, more congested than my nose than during a sinus infection. They literally play every 3 days, at most every 3 days.
Yes.
Except for the next international break. So they have no break. There is no break for them. They're going to be licking their wounds coming to Orlando, and the boys and Poppy, I have no doubt, are going to, send them with even more wounds, and by that time probably eliminate them from the playoffs.
And this is one thing, guys. Like right now, they are 14th in the East. 27 out of 29 teams league wide. Their PPG is 1.08. Ours is 1.74, and the team that is dominating the league is FC Cincinnati is 2.11. So they're gonna need magic. They're gonna need a lot of magic. I know that personally, I just don't want to. I gotta be honest. I just don't want them to make playoffs. Because they're our rival. Is that simple? I mean, I don't have to explain it to you. And on the 25th, we have an opportunity to prove to our fan base, because once again, the eyes of the world are gonna be on that game. Because if you look at the schedule they have, and if you guys allow me, let me get to their schedule. Right now, this weekend, they are going to be playing Atlanta. I have never been more excited about seeing Atlanta win a game. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's gonna be a very hostile environment. It's gonna be artificial surface that is treacherous, and anything can happen. After that, so this is Saturday. Wednesday, okay, they have Toronto. They're gonna be playing against, which, let's be honest, they're probably gonna win that game, but football is cruel and unpredictable. Then they're gonna come up to Orlando, where I'm telling you, Orlando City fans have to give them hell. I'm not gonna be there, unfortunately. I already said the reasons why. So you guys gotta be there. Just gotta be there and remind Messi that this is our rivalry. Because one of the things that to me that makes me angry is the fact that I watched the game against LAFC, and if I would have just walked from another planet, landed on Earth, turned on my TV, I would have thought this was a friendly. Or the LAFC players don't care about winning, because they were like hugging Messi and having their children take pictures with Messi. The guy just beat you at home and stole 3 points away from you. What do you have to be happy about? This is not a fair. This is not a friendly. This is not a church picnic. And if I was an LAFC fan, I would have been furious. Now there's one team only that took those antics into the locker room where they belong. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, if our Argentinian players and our players, period, if they want to take pictures with an icon of our sport, by all means, go ahead. That's great, fantastic. But don't do it on the pitch in front of your supporters that drove at the very least 4 hours to see you win. Don't do that, because that's disrespectful to me. And we're the only team that has not done that. Thank God for that. And obviously, on the 25th, once we win, if you want to take pictures with Messi, by all means, when I exchange jerseys with Messi, go ahead, go nuts. Take the 3 points away from the man. embarrass him, humiliate him, make him look like the 37-year-old that he is. Because I'm sorry, he has come to MLS, and Nashville lost their first trophy in club history. They lost it, and the next day their captain is like, "Not everything is lost. Look, I got a Messi one jersey. Maybe now I can afford to send my kids to college." Are you kidding me? And you know what hurts the most, guys? It's like the best player that ever came out of Orange County, Florida, public schools is doing that.
You know what? I
best
couldn't agree
player.
with you more, man. Yeah.
And I'll get off my horse so you guys can comment on this. The best player, Dax McCarthy, the best player that ever came out of this county where I am recording this right now.
Yeah.
And a local legend, a man whose family has Orlando City season tickets.
Mhm.
To me, he caught me deep when he did that. And we can do that. And then the FCC Cincinnati again, a golden opportunity. Those guys have been foaming at the mouth to go to Open Cup. They lose at home after they had him. They had him against the ropes. And what do we see? What do we see? Their captain, "Oh, Messi, these are my kids. Take pictures with me." Say, "This guy beat daddy for a trophy." Come on now. No. I want my players to be mean, foaming at the mouth. Foaming at the mouth. Take another shot. Take another shot, people. Pour it. Because when my team Stevenage went to play Leighton Orient in London 2 weeks ago, and we beat them 3-0, beat down, we humiliated them. Our players had to be escorted off the pitch by police escort because the local fans wanted to jump on the pitch and beat them up. That's what I want in Orlando. I don't want to be liked. I want to be hated for the good reasons, because we win games, we fill stadiums, we take hundreds to away games. That's what we should be striving for. That's what we should be wanting in our hands. And we have a comment here by our good friend.
Serge Nash.
Go
ahead. Go ahead, John.
Serge Nash. All retirees pick up injuries in Atlanta. 110% guaranteed. Turf is amazing there.
I don't doubt that. So, guys, I've been talking a lot, man. We're concentrating on this one game because to me it's the one highlighted on the calendar at this point. Because our calendar specifically, if I can go back to it, this is what we said about them. We have this Saturday, Wednesday we go up to New York City, I believe, to the home of the Mets, because it says Queens, New York, and great stadium if you want to watch baseball. But football, to me, out of the two, between Yankee Stadium and what is the MetLife, right? The Mets. MetLife is the worst out of the two because it's super narrow. Super narrow. It's like playing football in my grandma's hallway in her house, and my siblings when they listen to this, they know what I'm talking about. My grandma's house, my maternal grandmother had a very narrow hallway connecting both sections of the house. To me, that's why it reminds me of. It's ridiculous. And then we have Miami on that Saturday, and then we have the following Saturday. We will have. I'm sorry, on Sunday. I apologize. When we have Miami, then we have on that Saturday. We're gonna have on the following Saturday. We're gonna have Montreal. I think that sent us packing last year in the playoffs. A lot of bad blood between us, and then after that, we go to October where we only have one home game. We're gonna go away to Nashville. Very difficult place for us to get points. And then we're gonna close the season in Toronto, which at that point maybe Toronto has capitulated and probably is gonna be playing for nothing other than a spoiler. So This one, this one I'm gonna read personally because it's somebody that I love very much, and this is my niece Valeria, and she says, "Hi, Uncle David. Thank you, Mama, for showing up and supporting your uncle, your favorite uncle, because you only have two, and my brother Sammy, well, he's not that great." So we have, and thank you, Mama. You know, my niece has come to Orlando City Games. And Valeria, I owe you to bring you over to another game because I know I have dedicated myself to the boys in the family. But you know, because I only have two nieces. One is a newborn, and my niece Valeria, who was in her early 20s. So I need to bring you over. I already told my niece, when you're looking for a husband, make sure that he's an Orlando City fan. You know, she knows that. We have another comment, guys.
Michael Rosa said City Field, I believe, not MetLife. Yeah, they changed. The name.
Okay, great. Listen, thank you, Misael. I can't keep up with this stuff because let's be honest. Okay, let's see here. This one again, my niece. Uh, I want to go out again. Let's go around. Look, this girl knows how to get to my good side. Don't worry about it, Mama. Well, I'll see you this next weekend. And I'm gonna give you a big hug because you're number one. You're number one in my heart, and of course, you love the number one team in Central Florida, Florida as a whole, Orlando City, and you know, come on, at least this is the first time in this show that somebody has given me love like this because it's usually insults, pictures of phallic things. So anyhow. All right, guys. So I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. I know our friend Vixen asked me for a link. If he can join us, great. If not, we'll definitely. We have another comment here from our good friend Misael. If you guys don't mind reading that.
Sure, Misael Rosa said, I got on late. Did you guys talk about the crew game?
Yes, we have, my friend. And you can more than welcome to, once we log off, to go back at the beginning. We discussed that it's going to be a war. It's going to be a war. We have to win the 3 points. At this point, we can be merciful. It's all business. Guys know this. It's all business. So, guys, we already talked about our playoff positioning. We already talked about our what's ahead. As we are wrapping up the season, as we are coming to an end, and it's always sad. Back in the old days, it used to be the end, but thank God for that. We have actually playoffs to look forward to. Favorite moment of the season, personally, for you guys.
Ooh.
At the stadium, favorite moment of the season. And Vixen, I got you. We'll get you on here in a minute.
I got
Can you
mine.
guys-
If I can go ahead and go, it's
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. I thought I lost you
you're
guys.
fine. You're fine. I was thinking we've had several good moments, this year at the stadium. I'm gonna actually just go with my top two. Was Carr's bicycle kick in the Champions League match, and then Cartagena's goal at the death in the Leagues Cup. Those
Oh my God!
top two for me. I can't really separate those two.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Lately there have been so many. Like, to John's point, there've just been so many. I think overall, one of the best games I've been to was probably that Kansas City match. I mean, not Kansas City. I'm sorry, St. Louis.
Yep.
That was a good one for me.
No, for sure. I actually, John just stole that one from me. Probably one of the most impressive goals that I've seen as an Orlando City fan live. That was just, it was just poetry in motion. This year, to me, this is a good question because I mean, some of the great games as of late, I have missed them, unfortunately. I will have to say, God. Wow. I think when we man, it's tough. It's tough. I really can't recall anything. I think that the great moments have happened when I haven't been there. But no, I'll tell you what. Our first game of the season, which wasn't impressive, but I got to see that game with my nephew, both of my kids. We had a great night, and to me, that's what it's all about. It's is the creating the memories because the fans and we all have kids. We all basically have brought our kids. You know, we all have boys. Um, I know Ahmed you have a daughter, right, Ahmed?
I have 2 daughters and a son. Yeah.
Two daughters and a son. Okay, so but so for this applies more for me and John, I guess, because we have nothing but boys at the moment, right? So you know, it's that moment of spending time with dad in the hope that one day our grandchildren are gonna be there with us as well. And you know, if you look at the calendar, the chances are is that John's son is gonna live long enough to see our club turn 100 years old. And
Yeah.
how incredible would that be for John's son to be an old man, be there with John's grandchildren and great grandchildren at the stadium and say, you know, my dad brought me here. You know, he planted the seed, and and now you know we're celebrating a century of Orlando City football. I think that will be incredible. Our friend Vixen has been waiting patiently, so I'm gonna go ahead and bring him in.
Hey,
Hey, Vixen.
how you guys doing?
Man, how are you, man?
All right, my brother. Hey, Vixen, if you don't mind a second, so we can read some comments real quick, because otherwise they're gonna pile up.
John, want to go?
Yeah, I'll go. Cardiac cats are great. Winter flashbacks. I think he's talking about Adrian.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
Surge again, Kara, and then Misael Rosa. The Four Thrashing of Toronto was fun. That was another good one. That was
Yes. Oh my God. How could I?
4th or July
forget?
2nd, one or the other.
Yes, how we can forget that.
And then Surge Nash again, Kara's bicycle kick. Yeah, I mean that went out because I was in the supporter section, so it was the other end. I mean
That happened in front of me, by the way.
Yeah.
And I was surrounded by Tigres fans. So
Yeah,
And then Surge Nash one last time. Take your kids and grandkids to the game. Addiction should start early. My best memories with my father at age 4. When we start to wrap up, I'll bring my little one on, and I got a treat for everybody.
fantastic.
So we'll bring him on real quick at the end once we're wrapping up, and I got a treat for everybody.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Vixen, favorite goal of the season.
favorite goal of the season. It's just I can't. This season it's just that
Has been a great season.
the bicycle kick that I kind of put in through. Like if like for a normal fan, like a normal fan, like you have a friend to bring to the stadium at the best game for me. Like if it was a fan, like a friend, like coming to the stadium, and the best game that occurred in was Orlando City versus Philadelphia Union.
Ooh, yeah.
I think that, but the
The
best
one that I'm sorry to interrupt you, Vixen. The one we were invited, John. Remember, we were invited by our friends up in the Philadelphia podcast, and we said that we were gonna lose, and they're like, "Oh, great guys!" and then we beat them. Yeah, that one.
yeah. But the best game, like as a team that Orlando City has played at home was the game against Toronto FC. So
Again,
So
we
there's
tend to
two
forget.
there's two different sides to look at it. Like as a
Yeah.
fan, like a person who wants to have a good time on a Saturday night, Philadelphia Union versus Orlando City, in my opinion. And then, but as a team, like the best game that they've played, and the whole season was against Toronto FC.
Absolutely, and you heard us talking about the playoff picture, the game Saturday, and what's up ahead. I mean, we titled this episode "The Final Countdown" for very good reasons. We're at the end. We're at the end of the season. What's done is done.
Yes.
We got once we make 50 points, we're guaranteed a spot in the playoffs. So just give us your rundown of your expectations and your hopes for this end of the season.
I don't like what Ahmed said. I love what Ahmed said over here. Where he says that every game from now forth is a playoff match, and he stressed that in the last podcast and the podcast before that, and in this podcast. And I agree with you, Ahmed, 150% that every game from henceforth will be a playoff game. Ahmed, you couldn't say it best. I agree with Ahmed 150% on that.
I'll follow that.
We got to go all out. I mean, if these boys are coming back from international duty, y'all better play. Like no joke. I mean, don't sleep on Columbus Crew. You know what I'm saying? Like a tie could damage us. Like we gotta win. I want to win. I'm not looking for a tie.
And Vixen, your fellow countryman Gillespie will be there. He was that 2 years ago or last year? Maybe he came back and
yes, I remember that
overnight.
Yes,
the night before the match, and then played that night after he landed. Got a red eye to Orlando and played that night. So he's going to be there. Wilder
should be there 150% as well. One player that I will never forget that did that. What you're saying, John? Deshwa Kendele. They called
yes.
They called up Deshwa Kendele last minute to cover up a striker that got injured for Canada. Flew to Houston or to Dallas, and then the next played like 40-50 minutes. Then the next day, Orlando City had a game, and he played that game.
Yes, yeah, and you have to remember that credit where credit's due. Deshwa Kendele obviously has retired. He is living in Charlotte, working in architecture and urban planning. And the guy is just living a regular life like you guys and like me. And to me, Deshwa will always have a piece of our heart because Absolutely. Vixen, that's what matters at the end of the day. People that feel the weight of the jersey, the commitment to the badge. That's why we will never, ever, ever in this fan base sing Joe Blow and Orlando City. It's Orlando City.
I hated it so much. Like people were giving him so much hate, and when he was doing pretty bad, I'm like, no, you guys, like, don't like I'm telling you, this like, don't sleep on this guy. And I hated. I told my friends this all the time. Like they agreed. They love Deshwa too. My friends that I've talked to this about, John and William, and like I told them like yo, this guy is awesome. Like. Like I can't think of anybody else that dedicated like the team like
back-to-back winners. Remember, guys, back-to-back winners. One away and one in Orlando against New York City. Listen, I don't want to deviate because obviously I don't want the show to be 3 hours long, but we definitely need to dedicate an episode to players like that. Players
I'm there.
No, for sure. We're gonna have a open forum. And if William wants to join us or anybody that wants can join us as well. We definitely have that. Maybe at the end of the season. This is probably end of the season type of thing, because there's a lot of players in Orlando City history that have done that for me. That's what I go to the stadium for. Those type of memories. Cool. And yeah, for sure. Listen, if you have never been showered by beer from strangers, you have never hugged a stranger as if he was your long lost cousin, you have never screamed at the top of your lungs and jump like a listen, there's nothing more ridiculous than a fat middle-aged man as myself jumping as if I was in running the 100-yard obstacle race.
Running into the wall.
I was there. And to the lady that almost broke my ribs, thank you very much. What a fantastic night. These are the moments, my friends, that this is why live football at the stadium will always be supporting a club overseas at 7:00 in the morning on a Saturday. I'm telling you. This is what we live for. And this is exactly what I told my surgeon, who was telling me, well, I've been flirting with the idea of going to the stadium, and because he follows Newcastle, die hard, and that's beautiful. But I told him, I said, you have to support the club in the city you live in. You have to do that, and you have to pass that love for to your children. So again, my friends, and you know what we're gonna do. This is the homework. We're gonna have that show, and everybody has to come up with 10 unforgettable moments of Orlando City, and see how many we get together and how many we have probably forgotten about. I think, Vixen, it's a show that's gonna happen, my friend. So look out for the invitation. So,
Send me the email. I'm there, man. Thank you.
yeah, for sure. So we're gonna be wrapping it up, my friend. Thank you for coming on, because you sort of took us in a tangent that brought I'm pretty sure brought a lot of smiles to the fans.
Sorry.
No, it's all good. It's all good, my friend. So are you gonna be there Saturday?
I will not. I will not. I'll watch the game. I'm watching it for sure.
Hey, I know, but my brother, that 6-hour drive is brutal. So anytime that you're gonna be in town, please let me know. I would love to say hello to you and to Will and the guys. Go ahead, bro.
One quick thing. When you were saying like how John was saying like my kids like my father was a seed of this team and stuff. Like you could also say like you remember when they started first building Exploria Stadium, they had the purple sand. I have purple sand in the Ziploc bag.
All right.
So like when you said like he was a seed of the team, like that's literally kind of the seed of the team of when the stadium was built. You know what I'm saying?
No, absolutely. You know what, Vixen, don't go away. Just stay with us. John, go ahead and introduce the little one.
So for those that don't know, this is my son. Here, stand up. And he adores Orlando City. If you guys ever get a chance to come by the wall and see us, he goes hard. He goes all 90 minutes. He'll go 4 or 5 hours. So here, you guys help me out. All of us are going to say Orlando, and let's see if he does it. Ready on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Orlando City. What's this? Hey, what's this?
Clip that. I want that. We have our friend Search Nash, Little Lion, also for life. Amen to that, my friend. Amen to that. And you know what, guys, this is what this is all about. This is what we created the show. Yeah, my friend, I'm with you. No, don't take him away. Keep him there, my friend. Come on now. He's one of us.
Yeah, for sure.
This is basically why we created the show. It's a place for fans. There we go, my friend. For fans to just expose the love for our club. What's his name? I know you have said his name many times, John, but I can.
Barrett.
Perry?
Barrett.
Okay. All right, Barrett, my friend. Yes, there you go. Look at that. Come on now. Barrett is the future of this club. And I want to, before I let the guys do the final words before we say goodbye, I want to, first of all, wish Shana Tova to all our Jewish friends that watch the show. This Friday night is going to be the Jewish New Year. May this new year, I believe it's 5785, may bring you all sorts of happiness. Everybody has seen the unsavory things that we have seen this past week. The freaking Nazis and all that. It doesn't matter. Hopefully, here in this fan base, you have found a place to call home and to be yourself. So I want to wish you a happy new year. Obviously, we'll be on my table here, welcoming the new year, having a Seder, welcoming the Shabbat, as we always do. So I want to wish all our good Jewish friends a happy new year. And now that we're on that topic, this past Saturday, I felt good enough to make Aliyah, read the Torah portion alongside with my younger son. To me, I don't bring my spirituality here often. But it was a great moment for me as I make my journey for recovery. And I want to share a story that comes from the Talmud. Talmud is a book of commentary on the Tanakh, on the Old Testament. And there's a story there that to me is so dear to my heart because it applies to Orlando City. There was a king that was driving by a field and sees an old man planting seeds. And he tells the old man, "You fool, you will never see those trees grow up." And he says, "Yes, my king, I will never. But my children will enjoy their shade, and my grandchildren will enjoy the fruit." That's all of us. Barrett is going to live to be old enough to see our club turn 100 years old, my friends. That's what it's all about. We come and we go. It's what people do. We're born, we live, and we die. But the important thing is, if we spend those magical moments at the stadium, is a life worth lived. And if we leave our brick on the wall, Orlando City, the institution, will last for a very, very, very long time. So, John, if you want to say final words, and then Vixen, then Ahmed, and then we will say goodbye.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody needs to show up to the match. Every home match. We only have 4 left. And don't forget the one on the September 25th against Fort Lauderdale was a Sunday. So take that Monday off. Take a doctor's note if you have to. Take that Monday off, because if you go to the match, you shouldn't have a voice.
Absolutely, absolutely, my friend. Vixen.
Vamos Orlando. I know we will beat the Columbus Crew. I hope everybody's starting. I hope everybody is playing twice as hard. Like Ahmed said, every game from here forth should be a playoff match.
Ahmed?
Yeah, vamos Orlando, man. I mean, we need to show up. Like I said, like Vixen reiterated, every game is a must win. But they need the fans in the seats. They need the fans in the seats bringing that energy, because that helps tremendously. Like those last few games, the atmosphere, it was on fire. Just the whole stadium was on fire.
Mm-hmm.
No, absolutely. And I gotta tell you, I'm fighting the emotions because seeing little Barry kissing that batch. Listen, I'm a sucker, brother. I'm a sucker for that type of stuff. Thank you, guys. We have a couple of comments real quick here, and I will read them just to make it brief. And this is Misael Rosa. Awesome. Kiss the batch. She's the best. Absolutely. Listen, I mean, look at his father. Come on now. And finally, Search and Ash, great words. Thank you, my friend. That's what we're here about. And we say goodbye. Hopefully next Monday to talk about a win and how we get prepared to welcome the circus into town. I would like to remind everybody that football is the sport for those that don't mind having their mouths smashed and their hearts broken. Football is played on grass, not on paper. Football is cruel and unpredictable. Football is football, and that's the way I like it. Thank you very much for listening to us, either on your favorite podcast app, watching us live, or watching us later on during the week. Thank you very much, my friends. From John, Barrett, Vixen, Ahmed, and yours truly, may God bless you. And as always, vamos Orlando.